When Marcus Allen left his hometown in Kentucky, he didn't tell anyone he was afraid. He told his mother he was excited, he told his younger sister that the Army would make him a hero, and he told his girlfriend Emily that nothing in the world could keep him from coming back. But on the bus ride to basic training, he sat by the window with his hands locked together so tightly his knuckles turned white, because every mile away from home felt like he was being stretched thinner between who he was and who he was about to become. Marcus was not the loud soldier. He wasn't the strongest in his unit or the fastest runner. What he was dependable. When a new recruit couldn't finish a march, Marcus carried his rucksack. When someone forgot their gear, Marcus was the one who had an extra. He never bragged about it. He just believed that leaving someone behind was never an option. His first deployment took him to Afghanistan, to a valley so narrow that radio signals bounced off mountains and came back twisted and broken. The locals avoided eye contact. The nights were so silent that every sound felt like a warning, and in that place, Marcus became close with a soldier named Ben Carter, a father of two from Texas who carried photos of his daughters in the chest pocket of his vest. Ben used to joke that the girls were his body armor, that nothing could touch him as long as their faces were close to his heart. One afternoon, their convoy rolled through a village that looked peaceful enough to forget fear for a second. Children waved. Old men sat on doorsteps pretending not to watch. Then the road disappeared under fire. An explosion lifted the lead vehicle like it was made of paper. Smoke swallowed the street. The radio filled with voices speaking at the same time. Marcus dove behind a wall and then saw Ben lying in the open, one leg pinned under twisted metal. Without waiting for orders, Marcus ran. He didn't remember the bullets hitting the wall beside him. He didn't remember the pain in his shoulder when something hot tore through fabric. He only remembered Ben's face when he reached him, pale and shaking but still trying to smile. "Don't let my girls forget me," Ben whispered. Marcus dragged him back behind cover, his arms burning, his breath tearing out of his lungs. Medics rushed in. Helicopters arrived just in time. Ben survived, but he never walked the same again. Months later, Marcus stood in a hospital room holding Ben's newborn son, the baby wrapped in a blue blanket that looked too clean for a world that had almost taken his father away. Ben laughed and said, "You kept my promise for me." But the war wasn't finished with Marcus. On his final mission, only weeks before he was due to come home, a roadside bomb struck the rear of their vehicle. Marcus was thrown clear. He woke up in the dirt with blood in his eyes and ringing in his ears, the world broken into pieces that didn't fit together anymore. This time, there was no Ben lying in the road. This time, there was nothing he could fix. Marcus didn't die that day, but he lost the part of himself that believed promises were always enough. When he finally returned to Kentucky, people threw a party. His mother cried into his shoulder. His sister hung banners across the living room. Emily told him everything was going to be okay. But at night, Marcus lay awake listening to the house breathe around him, waiting for sounds that never came. He avoided mirrors because he didn't recognize the man staring back. He stopped answering calls from friends because he didn't know how to explain that he had survived when others hadn't. One evening he drove out to a field behind his childhood home, the same place he used to skip rocks with his sister. He took Ben's daughter's photo out of his wallet, the one Ben had given him before the accident, and held it in his hands as the sun disappeared behind the trees. "I didn't forget you," Marcus whispered to the empty air. Years later, Marcus volunteers at a veterans center, helping soldiers who came home with invisible wounds. He doesn't wear his medals. He doesn't talk about what he did overseas, but he keeps one photo pinned to the wall of his office. Two little girls smiling at a camera, unaware that their father once lay broken on a battlefield, and that a quiet soldier named Marcus carried him out of the fire. Because sometimes the greatest American soldiers aren't the ones whose names make headlines. They are the ones who keep their promises, even when nobody is watching.